Good morning. The March 31st, 2025 work session of the Douglas County Board of Commissioners will come to order. Welcome, citizens of Douglas County. Deputy County Clerk, please take the roll for the record.
Commissioner Henry Mitchell, District 1. He's here, Chairman, but he stepped out for just a moment.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Whitney Kenner Jones, District 2.
Present.
Commissioner Martin Raxton, District 3.
Present.
Vice Chair Mark Alcarez, District 4.
Present.
Chairman Ramona Jackson Jones.
Present. Thank you so much. Deputy Clerk, did we have anyone sign up for public comment this morning?
Yes, ma'am, we had one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, before I call the first one, I would just want to remind people that when you come up, please restate your name and address and your subject matter for the record. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the board. Once you reach the 3 minutes, please bring your comments to a close. Also, when you approach the microphone, please adjust the mic. Okay, we had Martha Chesser.
Thank you so much, Ms. Chesser. Good morning.
Boy, I really am impressed with all this new stuff here.
Yes,
I've been
ma'am.
around Douglas County for a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
Plus, I'm getting older. But bear with me for a minute. Does everybody hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm Martha Chesser, and I'm with the Douglas County Genealogy Society, and have been a member, thank you, because I don't know what to do with it. I've been a member since 1998. Well, y'all can look at my hair and know that I'm old. But we have donated, I need to give you a little background. We have donated over 248 books to the Selman Drive Library. We've donated more than 80 books to the Dog River Library. It's been well over $4,600. We did this book, y'all. Some of y'all might be familiar with it. We did all of the typing. We did all of the getting the stories together from all over. This book is actually what Douglas County has grown up on. It's about the families that started Douglas County. A lot of people don't know this, but this is available and has been since '98, since we did it. We've had a research room before. What we need, since the Douglas County Library is going to be renovated and closed for a good while, we need a room that the genealogy group can meet monthly, like we always do, and where we can do research for Douglas County, and also help people that are coming in from Cobb County and from Carroll County and from Paulding County, and they all in Macon. Macon has a whole floor for the research people, but we need at least one room that we can meet with people and help them find their families that moved into Douglas County or that were born here in the past. And we need to be able to arrange for people to go into a room for research so they can go on the computer and research their families and find out about the history that goes with them and goes with us here in Douglas County. So when the library is being renovated, it's going to be closed, and that's where we have been meeting. We had a room there. I understand that when it gets renovated that we won't even have a room. But we have all these books that we have bought and spent money on to help people in Douglas County and to help people coming in, because we have people that are looking for the genealogy in their families, and they come in here from all over, not just Douglas County. They come in from different states. Their families were here and then moved here and then went on out west. So we have a lot of those people coming in. So that's what I'm asking y'all for today, that we could have a room. I understand that there may be some empty rooms in the old courthouse, wherever we can go to have a research room during this renovation so we can help people and help Douglas County. Any questions? I might not have any answers, but I would tackle them.
Well, Ms. Chester, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your concerns this morning, and we will take this matter under advisement, and I will certainly ask the county administrator if he could just, and we'll take a look at it. We're going to take a look at it, okay? Your request is not falling on deaf ears, okay? Thank you so much for coming in. Anyone else, Deputy Clerk, sign up this
No,
morning?
ma'am, that was
Okay.
the only one.
Okay. Commissioners, we're going to move into our agenda adoption. Commissioners, are there any changes that need to be made to the agenda? If none, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. Any discussion, board? We have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the agenda, please indicate by raising your right hand. Okay, we have a 5-0 unanimous vote to approve the agenda, and the motion carries. All right, we will go into our next item, which is time limits. Board of Commissioners, certainly as a reminder, each commissioner will have 3 minutes to make remarks with a 2-minute rebuttal. And then next we have approval of the minutes. I'm sorry, next on the agenda are the meeting minutes. Commissioners, please review those minutes for tomorrow and be prepared to approve or deny accordingly. Proclamations, Clerk, you can tell them what we have coming up. Deputy Clerk.
Okay, we have 2 proclamations tomorrow. The first one is proclaiming the week of April 6th through 12th, 2025 as Crime Victims Week in Douglas County. The second one will be proclaiming the week of April 6th through 12th as National Library Week in Douglas County.
Okay. Thank you so much, Deputy Clerk. With that being said, Board of Commissioners, if you have no questions, we're going to move to our agenda items. Deputy Clerk, please, you may begin with the first agenda item.
We have preliminary plat approval for cottages of Twin Lakes. Allison Duncan. Whoops, sorry.
Good morning, Madam Chair and Board of Commissioners.
Good morning.
Let me pull this up really quickly.
If you could state your name for us.
Oh, yes, ma'am. My name is Austin Cronin. I'm with Planning and Zoning.
Okay, thank you,
And-
Austin. Thank you.
Perfect. So this is a preliminary plat for the cottages of Twin Lakes. It's a 119 lot with a mix of townhomes and single family. So we have 80 units attached and 39 units that are single family detached. You'll remember this from September of last year. It came through under a rezoning case for planned residential development, and it was approved. So the development is proposed to be senior restricted as well, and it also has a set of overall development standards that control the architecture and the minimum development standards, including the minimum lot size, minimum unit size, and then it also regulates setbacks. And the density is 2.65 units per acre, and staff's recommending approval of the certificate of preliminary plat. And that concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Board, we have any questions regarding this preliminary plat request? Okay. Thank you so much, Austin.
Yes, ma'am.
The next item, number 7, approval of a service contract with Central Square to allow for visualization of unit locations with CAD dispatch system for an annual cost of $4,417.50 and a one-time implementation cost of $3,120 to be funded by the fire department budget, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Chief Allen.
Good morning.
Tiffany Stewart.
Yes, that's me. Good morning, Madam Chair, Board of Commissioners. Chief Allen is away at a conference,
Okay.
and so I'll be doing the next 2 agenda items. So the fire department is requesting a contract for the visualization of unit locations within the CAD dispatch system for an annual cost of $4,417.50, and then a one-time implementation cost of $3,120. This will come out of the fire department's budget, and this allows our 911 system to kind of see where those vehicles are located. And so this will be instrumental in making sure that our public safety initiatives move forward.
Okay. Thank you so much, Chief of Staff. Any questions for our Chief of Staff? Okay. Commissioner Raxton, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
So, good. So just clarification, is the contract for 3 years or for 1 year?
It says here an annual cost. I will have to defer to legal about the term of the contract.
Okay.
Okay, give us one second.
I thought I read it was like 3 years with a 1 year renewal, but I just wanted to just clarify if that was the case.
A 1 year for successive, with 2 successive 1 year automatic renewals. But I need to just verify that. We likely would have not approved something with a flat 3 years unless it's with another governmental entity. Based on what was received from the fire department, Ms. Austin, this is a 1 year, this is a 1 year contract with successive and annual reoccurring costs, so for successive 1 year terms.
Okay, so it would come up year to year for renewal.
But it's automatic, so you won't approve it every year.
Okay,
The only time it'll come back to you is if they are gonna provide notification of cancellation.
okay, so it's really 3 years then that we're approving if this automatically renewed year after year?
Yes, but you can cancel during the 3 years if you want to.
Okay.
It just requires providing notification of that termination.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be 3 years.
Okay.
Right, if fire wants to get your approval to terminate it after year 1, they can, which will then, it will only been a 1 year. Or after year 2, it can happen within the 3 years.
Okay, all right. Thank you, County Attorney, appreciate that. Madam Chair, I yield the floor back to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Commissioner Raxton. Any other questions for Commissioner Mitchell? You
Yes.
have the floor.
Thank you. Just so for clarity, legal, so to spin off of Commissioner Raxton's conversation about it's a 1 year automatic renewal, is there a time frame in the cancellation, like a 30, 60, 90-day cancellation, or just cancel at will, or kind of what's the cancellation side of that?
So cancellation is going to require notification. Let me just get to that portion of the contract.
Okay.
We don't attach them to the document. Hold on. So termination for convenience is section 2. It can be terminated without cause by either party by providing written notice to the other party 30 days prior to the date of termination.
Okay, so 30 days. Got it. Okay, so it'll automatically renew December 31st, kicks right in. If we didn't give a 30-day notice, it automatically renews at this particular cost. The annual cost of $4,417.50.
Correct.
Okay. All righty, just wanted to clarify that. And you're okay with the language stated in the contract?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. I yield back, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Commissioner Mitchell.
Oh, and one last thing, I
Okay,
apologize.
Commissioner Mitchell?
And just so I know, and I just spoke with my colleague, that this was vetted through the Public Safety Committee. I know it may not be called that, but under Public Safety, was this vetted on your end?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I yield back. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Mitchell. All right, Deputy Clerk?
Okay, number 8, approval to purchase MSA air packs from 10-8 Fire and Safety in the amount of $125,809.88 to be funded by the 2016 SPOS Fund, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Tiffany Stewart Stanley.
So this is for the air packs for the fire department, and this is funded through the 2016 SPOS, and the amount is $125,809.88.
Okay, any questions, Board? Commissioner Raxton, you have the floor.
Thank you. Is there any type of warranty or maintenance plan associated with the packs?
I would have to get that information from the fire chief. I can get that for you momentarily.
Okay. All right, I would love to know that, and as well as, is this just a one-time charge?
That is correct. I know
Okay.
that much.
Okay. All right, well, just let me know about the warranty and maintenance
Yes,
plan
I
and what
will
that
do
could look
that.
like.
I'll come back with that information. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Madam Chair, I yield the floor back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Commissioner Raxton. Any other questions, board? All right, Deputy Clerk, you have the floor.
Okay. Number
Yes,
9.
there is a warranty associated with that,
Oh,
with
it
those
is?
air packs, yes. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Number 9, approval to award a contract pursuant to solicitation 25-007 to AAA Landscape in the amount of $699,180 to be funded by the DOT Maintenance Annual Budget to provide 10 cycles of litter pickup services and 8 cycles of mowing services in fiscal year 2025, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending legal review. Director Rana.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair, Board,
morning.
and County Administration. DOT outsources about 258 miles of mowing and litter pickup services to outside vendors. This year, solicitation 25-07 received 6 responses. Out of the 6, 5 were deemed responsive. Out of the 5, AAA Landscape from Borough County was deemed as the lowest and most responsive bidder for this service. We were able to get a very reasonable price for our service, and one thing that you'll notice is that we have 2 additional cycles for litter pickup to be used at the discretion of the county, and which will be determined later in the contract on when it's best to utilize those 2 additional cycles. Therefore, we're recommending approval of this contract. Thank you.
Okay, any questions for? Okay, Commissioner Raxton, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
So I know we've talked about this in the past, and one of the things that I have a concern with is just the number of mowings, and I think 8 cycles is not enough. Mowing services in the summertime, we could probably need more than at least twice a month. So just want to ask, or is there any consideration that if we do identify a need for additional mowing cycles, what could that potentially look like? Is there flexibility there, and do we have funds if we need to do a change request for that?
Certainly, there's need for additional cycles. That number and the number of cycles is often capped by the budgetary number that's assigned to the department. In this case, though, as I mentioned earlier, we did get a reasonable price, which is slightly lower than our budget target. It does give us some flexibility, but we have to wait and see how the other contracts turn out. For example, the other professional services supports a few other mowing and professional services contracts. Depending on those advertisements and the contracts, if there is additional money left in this specific line item, there would certainly be option to utilize additional cycles from this vendor.
Okay, well, that'll be great. And again, I know we've talked about just mowing, and especially in the summer times, the need is more than just once a month there. So
Right.
definitely would love to see if we can give some additional or have some flexibility there. And then I guess the last question I had was just, they provided in attachment B for fiscal year 21 and 22, the schedule. And I was wondering if there's a schedule for fiscal year 25.
There's certainly a schedule for 25. It should have been part of the bid submission. If it's
Okay.
if it's the wrong one, we'll make sure it's corrected.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Madam Chair, I yield the floor back to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Commissioner Raxton. Any question? Commissioner Mitchell, you have the
Yes.
floor.
Just one. So I too, I guess I need to look at the 8 locations as to kind of where they are. I'm assuming that's going to be spread out throughout the county, or is there any specifics? And I haven't had a chance to look at the item that you said it'll give me those locations, correct?
Yes, so this is 258 miles. 8 is the number of cycles, 8 months,
Oh,
once
got
a
it.
month.
Okay.
And would be more than happy to, provide the list
If you
after the
would.
meeting for sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
if you want to. And if it's in there, I just need to go and pull it up, I guess.
It should be part of the contract.
Got it. And you mentioned there will be 2 pickups, litter pickups,
Right.
correct? Could that be, as Commissioner Raxton stated, one of the additional mowings that may need to come about? Or is it strictly, these guys will be out just picking up things, litter?
Yeah, so our our annual practice has been 8 cycles for mowing, 8 cycles for litter.
Okay.
What we've seen in the past is sometimes there are urgent needs to do another cycle of litter pickup, maybe 15 days in or a week in after the last cycle. For those reasons, we were only able to get the cycles for litter pickup in this contract. So those 2 litter pickup cycles will be used at our discretion. Mowing cycles are capped at 8 with
Got
this
it.
contract.
Got it, okay. Okay, well, because I too would agree though that, 8 is a small number, but I understand, your budget is your budget. And the question is, we're trying to work within the framework of what you've been given the task of dollars and cents to work with.
Certainly.
So, I get it, but I agree though that there might be an additional need, but I think this board needs to look at that and try to find the funding source and not task it within your budget to do an additional 8. We would love to see that happen, but again, how will we pay for it? Because I know the county administrator will be over here yelling in my ear as to how we're gonna fund that, what that looks like, so I get it, so, but we'll just have to broach that as we kind of get there and see where this 8 takes us, and, and then we'll see kind of what happens after that, though. In past years, was it 8, or was it more, or was it less? What was the numbers prior? Previous.
Yep, so previous contracts have been 8 cycles for mowing, 8 cycles for litter pickup.
Okay.
So this contract is an improvement with 2 additional cycles for litter pickup.
Okay.
And we continue to have discussions with county administration and finance on how to best optimize it. We do have some in-house resources too, and we try to adopt a hybrid model where we rely on outsourced vendors for certain needs. And then if there are some urgent needs, we deploy our internal resources to help that. So we're continuously looking at how to best optimize it, but certainly additional funds and additional cycles would go a long way for the county.
How did the past 8 work in the past 2 or 3 years? Did it work out pretty decently, or are we speaking like my colleague saying that's going to get us there, but not close enough though?
Yeah, I'll agree with that. It's certainly not perfect.
Okay.
8 cycles mean you're only mowing and picking up litter once a month for 8 months. The cycle is April, or the duration is April to November, and then a lot happens between November and April. And those are the times when we rely on our internal resources. And again, I think that's an ongoing conversation where what's the funding level that's realistic, and how can we best optimize this practice?
So again, did that work last year, 8? Or was it a rainy season that created more grass and more pickups and all that good stuff? Or
Right.
did it work, or was it perfect for you last year?
I wouldn't say it was perfect. I think there's always more we can do. We certainly did our best with the 8 cycles, but I would say during the peak time, there are times maybe you need 2 cycles in a month. 8 gives you the bare minimum. You're addressing the peak season with at least once a month, and then you have a gap between November to April. So I wouldn't say it's the perfect approach. I think there's room to grow, but I think for the time being, at least it's reasonable, and we'll continue to see how we can grow this further.
If you had to grade it then, because I know you won't, just if you had to grade it, was it a 10, or was it, we're just mid-range and we got through it and there was still a lot more need of getting an additional cut needed? Because I know, I guess last year it was pretty much of a rainy season, and that's what's going to determine whether or not you're going to need additional cuts.
Right.
It's based on the weather.
Right. In terms of mowing, I would say we were certainly at a solid 8. Where we saw significant gaps was litter pickup, because that's something we don't have much control over. You could clean it up one day and it would be back to how it was within the next few days. So litter pickup was a bigger problem last year than mowing. Both are certainly ongoing discussions, but that's the reason we added 2 additional cycles for litter pickup
Okay.
in this contract.
Okay. All righty. Well, we'll see where this ends up. I guess you'll tell us here in the future and tell us, because I think we need to plan better, and you can't really outplan, because Mother Nature is Mother Nature. If we have a rainy season, we're going to need more than 8. If we don't, 8 may suffice us to kind of get through it, though. So, but thank you. Job well done. Thank you, Madam Chair. And I yield.
Okay, thank you so much, Commissioner Mitchell. Managing Director, I have a question regarding the 92 medians on 92, which is in District 2. Are there any plans this year for those medians along 92? Sometimes the citizens complaining. You probably heard that. Before we did engage, we had another contractor that address those. Are you looking at anything along those lines? I know it's state, but sometimes, it takes a little while before the state gets to those particular medians, and I'm just wondering what we can do to beautify that area.
Yes, Madam Chair. Certainly remains one of our key focus areas. 92 is in state route, in GDOT's jurisdiction. What we've done is, in the past, when it went on for longer than needed and addressed, we did deploy our resources to address the issue. But however, we've gotten better with our coordination with the State Department, and we have a good working relationship where the schedules are shared with each other's, and we can expect them to be out there mowing at a certain reoccurrence. Currently, their plan is to at least have a quarterly mowing scheduled for all state routes, which does push them behind schedule or behind the need during peak time. But we'll continue to monitor, coordinate with the State Department, see the best we can get out of this coordination. But if needed, we can certainly have a conversation on how the county would like to get involved.
Okay. I'm not sure if you're interested in anything along that line. Commissioner Jones? Yes. Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Board? Okay. Madam Deputy Clerk?
Number 10, approval of an E911 backup site WSA sewer easement and a conditions agreement between Douglas County Board of Commissioners and Douglasville First Church of the Nazarene, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Julia Janka.
Good morning, Good morning. Excuse me. Good morning, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioners, County Administration. Today, this is kind of an unusual situation. We have to do an easement across a church parking lot for the new 911 backup site. And one of the challenges we're faced with is getting their approval to proceed. And we were expecting a meeting last night to say, yes, go forward, no, do not from the church, and James has not heard back from the church yet. So the level of detail to proceed is still whether or not what the terms will be are to be determined. But what we're asking for today is for the ability to go ahead and continue the negotiations, work with the attorney to get the right language, and to be able to put together an easement agreement with the church once we figure out the logistics of all the details. It is in the budget for doing this. It's, shoot, I can't remember. James, what was the amount? I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact amount.
Okay.
I just know what, sorry.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
There's not really an amount associated with it, so what we're proposing to do is swap the easement in lieu of monies exchanged to tie their parishioner's house on to sewer, because it's gonna be crossing through their front yard. So in agreement, we would do that. We've put together the terms with the church. As Julia said, they're supposed to vote on it last night. I've just not got a response back. I'm optimistic that they're going to approve it. We've worked with them for quite a few months now to get to this point. But so the easement will run in front of the house and the church. We will tie the house on as part of the project. The church could tie on in the future because there'll be a sewer in their front yard, which is something they were desiring. But there would be no monies exchanged in this. It would just be, we tie it on, you sign the easement. So what we're looking for is concurrence to keep doing this, and then approval for you to sign, the chairman's already to sign at the appropriate time.
The reason, and just one other note, the reason we came before today is that we have to get this signed ASAP. This project is running about 2 to 3 months behind because of these delays, and we're trying to get it done so it's completed as close to year end or first January of 2026. It's critical that 911 has this site stood up so they can start planning for the FIFA events next year.
Okay.
Any questions?
Any questions, Board? Commissioner Raxton, you have the floor.
All right, good morning. Yeah, my question was more or less from the construction timeline. What does that timeline look like? Because I'm just trying to get an idea of how long would the church itself be impacted with the construction?
The sort of the schedule of events, I'll go through that.
Okay.
Right now, we cannot proceed to get the land disturbance permit or the building permit until WSA signs off on this easement. And That has been delayed for several months as a result of this negotiation back and forth. Once we get the LDP, then we have a roughly 8 weeks in which we have to deal with Greystone Power, Comcast, AT&T, whoever's on this light pole that's currently sitting in the utility pole currently sitting in the middle of the property. So I have charged the vendor to say why we're in this 8-week cycle once we get approval to proceed, figure out a way to go around, go in the backyard, figure out how to start work on the site so we're not any more delayed. I've also charged Greystone Power, where there currently is an easement today because there's a utility pole that connects the church to the same site, is to move that utility pole so we have no more easements on the church property and we don't have to do this again. So we're really trying to be very creative, out-of-the-box thinking to be able to move this project along. I've asked the project manager for PSI, Play Services Incorporated, to find out who they're talking to at the citizen level. So we have a list of those citizens I can provide their commissioner with in case there is an issue or case we have to do any additional hand-holding to be able to smooth the relationship. Because we will share a temporary driveway going into the property until we get this utility pole moved. Then we'll have a new driveway that we're putting in that will also benefit the citizens. We'll all have a new drive coming in off the street, and their old driveway will go away. We've also understood that there's a special needs family, special services are required, and one of the residents that are back behind, so we're trying to work with them as well to make sure they all have access. And we're taking care of everybody. So it's a lot of creativity and a lot of working around.
Okay. So again, I guess just from a framework, once we get the approvals, the actual construction itself, what
Construction's
are we looking
about
at?
right now running, it's scheduled to run at 9 months. Once we start, however, I'm pushing them still to figure out a way to be creative and finish by the end of the year. They're telling me I'm a little crazy, but I think it can be done because the facility is not as big. But we also have to do this in concurrently with Motorola because there's a lot of equipment. Motorola is standing up a monopole on that site, as well as Motorola is bringing in new systems that will be both at the existing 911 center as well as in the new 911 center. So there's a lot of collaboration, coordination. We cannot get that far off schedule.
Okay. And I guess my last question then, will that impact any of the timelines for the backup site itself?
Yes, probably. I don't want to give you a false sense of hope. Right now, we were expecting to be done in December. Right now, if based on current projections, we're looking at late January, early February, but I'm trying to keep that schedule as close to December as possible.
Okay. All right, thank you. Madam Chair, I yield the floor back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Commissioner Raxton. Any questions? Commissioner Mitchell, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Just so I'm clear, I think we're speaking of a couple of different things, and James, I don't know if either one of you guys can answer this, though, because I kind of sort of hear an easement for either Greystone and or WSA, but I thought I heard a WSA tap fee of some sort that we are in need of. So I want to make sure I'm clarifying which ones are we speaking of, or what is there an easement that we're going to take care of the tap fee for WSA, or vice versa, or kind of what am I hearing here? Make sure.
The WSA sewer easement is across the church parking lot.
Okay.
That is separate than what I referenced when I talked about the Greystone Power easement. There is an easement already on the church's property today.
Okay.
But when the engineers started talking about moving the pole and everything, they were going to move it, and then we're going to have to extend back, do another easement differently on the property. I'm like, oh, no, let's figure out a way to do it within our boundaries. And they're working on that, and we have a presentation this Thursday about the utility easement and design versus the the sewer design. What we're asking for today is all related to sewer. I was just giving you some background. I did not mean to confuse the issue.
Got it. Got you. I think I got a better understanding. Go ahead. Mhm.
There will be a tap fee
Okay.
associated with the house and with the 911 building. Those are both part of the construction contract. The tap fee, once we install the sewer line from the 911 down to, it's at the CVS on the corner, so it's about 700 feet away. Once we install that sewer line, we then have to pay a tap to attach to the sewer line we just installed.
Correct.
So we'll be doing that with both. For the house, that's about $4,600. On the building itself, I don't know the exact amount yet because I don't know if we've decided. It's based off of your water meter size. So it depends on what that water meter ends up being. But it would be at least 4,600 up to, I would say, between 10 to 15,000.
Got it.
And that's has nothing to do with the construction cost. That's just the actual tap fee to be able to get the service, so to speak.
Understood. And we got that portion accounted for?
Yes,
And-
sir.
Okay, in this whole build-out?
It's in the budget. It's going to probably come out of E911 funds.
Got it.
But right now, we're just trying to get the total amount of dollars. This project is jointly funded by SPLOST and E911 funds. So it's a combination of managing the dollars from both parts of the project. We have a meeting scheduled later this week with the construction company to firm up the numbers based on, since it's been a year since when this contract was initially awarded. And then one other additional thoughts, just to put on your radar, and I don't mean to talk too much. We will need to extend this contract a little bit, maybe a month or two with the vendor because of the challenges we've had, but I don't know. We're not ready to do that yet. We'll do that.
Understood, okay. And I just wanted the clarity, and I appreciate it, James, and thank you, Julie. Outside of that, I yield back. Thank you,
Okay,
Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Mitchell. Any other questions, board? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Director Jenkins. All right, Deputy Clerk, you have the floor.
Number 11, resolution to designate Chairman Ramona Jackson Jones as the authorized signatory for the Douglas County Board of Commissioners responsible for executing documents related to Federal Transit Administration and Connect Douglas pending final legal review. Ron Roberts.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners,
morning.
Administration. Yeah, so this item, I don't know if you guys recall, but February 4th, we came to the board with some items that the FTA wanted us to update in our TRAMS system. Our TRAMS is the Transit Award Management System. Madam Chair knows it well because we have to go and recertify her in there sometimes as well. But so this is this item really is an update. The opinion of council on the authorizing resolution in February really probably would have covered it, but I appreciate the effort that council made to draft this resolution. But it is actually putting Madam Chair back on ECHO so we can do our draws for FTA. That's what it is.
Okay. Any questions, board?
Just one, Madam
Okay.
Chair. Yes.
Commissioner Mitchell, you have the
Yes,
floor.
and this probably for legal. I'm assuming this has always been in play, though, and I'll get to legal in just a second. This has always been in play, correct?
Yes,
Ron?
sir. Yes, Commissioner, that is correct. Here's a copy of it previously.
I got it.
And
Understood. And the reason I'm asking this question is that because there was a change in Madam Chair being authorized to be the signer, which is fine, but we added the Vice Chair in that signature part of signing. Would that stand with this, or is that something different? And maybe you need to probably look at the resolution that was put together during the Vice Chair layout as well. That's part of that.
So let me just see if I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
That always that the vice chair would sign or on particular documents?
No, in the event of absence of Madam Chair and/or Madam Chair just decides not to sign, we redid the Vice Chair layout to be that signature person as being the signature in the absence of the chair.
Yeah, I would need to see that resolution.
Okay. So in that case, then I think we probably, is this need to be done now, or is it time sensitive?
well, so we had everything in place from the February meeting, as I stated, and we came to the BOC beginning of summer last year, and that's when we got permission to order those new buses.
Understood.
So the buses have now come in. and so has the bill. So that's what we're putting in the reimbursement for those monies, is when we noticed that we still had Phil
Right.
on
Bill
there.
Miller's name.
And right, and I'm okay, I'm okay with it. I just want to make sure kind of who would supersede what based on, and I think once you take a look at this, then we'll have a conversation after that. So I guess we could probably still do this moving forward, or at least have a conversation between now and tomorrow as to what you find.
Well, we don't need conflicting resolutions, right?
Correct.
So, Madam Clerk did say she would send it to me, so if
Okay.
I get it in time for it to be rectified with tomorrow's meeting, then you'll have the final
The
version
blessing.
tomorrow.
Okay. Not a problem. And I yield back. Thank you. I yield back, Madam Chair.
Okay, any other questions, board? Had just a question for you. It's just mainly to remove our former person who served in this role, Phil Miller's name, and put my name in there. Is that the purpose of this? I just want to make sure.
That is the entire purpose. In fact, I
okay.
have the copy of the older one. It was, we did some draws during that time, so we had to have somebody in the echo.
Yes.
Trams covers everything. Our NTD reports, all of our grants, everything. I mean, we go back, you don't realize it, but the county's been reporting transit data since 1986, 39 years of stuff in that software, so a lot of stuff.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Sure.
Just wanted to clarify that. Just believe they just need my name instead of Phil's
Right.
name. It's
I
still
understand.
populating
I
when it
understand.
comes through. Okay. Any other questions, board? So if not, next item.
Number 12, appointment of Yvette Harvey to the Cemetery Commission Board to represent District 3. Lisa Watson.
Ready for that? We had a vacant position on the cemetery board for District 3, and Commissioner Raxton has recommended this person.
Okay. Any other applicants, or she was?
No,
Oh,
we have.
okay. All right. Any questions, board? All right. Any commissioner comments before I ask about an executive session? Any comments? Okay. With that being said, County Attorney, do we need to go into executive session?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. With that being said, Board of Commissioners, do we have a motion to go into executive session?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to go into executive session for items of personnel, cybersecurity, real estate, and litigation.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. Any discussion, board? We have a motion and a second. All willing to go or in favor of going into executive session indicate by raising your right hand. We have a 5-0 unanimous vote to go in executive session, and the motion carries. Citizens of Douglas County, we will return momentarily. Thank you. As we prepare to go into executive session, we shall return. Thank you.